All right, everyone, I want to talk to you guys about run form. This is a video from today when I was with a patient, and hopefully this is coming through all right. Just let me know in the comments so you can hear me okay. So I had a runner that came into the clinic today. I'm going to move this over, and I was in the clinic all day with patients. So this might not be a solid live because I did this little graphic over here and it's really poor, but I wanted to cover some run form pieces. We're getting ready to launch the Midfoot Project, which starts on April 4th. There is a link in this post, so if you're interested in improving your run form, you want to spend 5 weeks with myself and other PTs, take a look at the Midfoot Project. Early bird pricing is expiring March 19th and the program starts on April 4th. So I had a patient today came in, we talked about run form and where to start with this. Could my run form be causing my issues? So I figured I'd jump on. We actually took video of him today. I'm going to share that with you from the clinic today, and then we're going to talk about some changes and why you want to do this. So over here, over there, we're going to talk about impact forces. Whenever someone wants to improve the run form, we look for the most bang for the buck. Like, what can you do to make the most change in your running? And foot strike is one of those things, especially in our older runners, because it provides you the ability to run faster, but it also provides a ton of shock absorption and injury prevention. So let's talk about those things. And I want to show you this runner here. Let me see if I can do this right. Get rid of myself. Okay, so here he is. You can see it was snowing today in Buffalo, something called a squall, which I don't even know what that is. But we're going to watch him swing through. We went outside and froze for a little bit to shoot this video for you all. So here's the typical way most people run. So the foot's coming through, swinging through, and then he hits the ground. And what I wanted to show you was when this foot hits the ground, everything, the whole chain is set up into what's going to happen next. So leg is perfectly straight, coming in contact with the ground. And that's what this over here, let me see if I can pull this up the right way. Over here, this is what this represents. His foot's just about to hit the ground. And the second his foot hits the ground, we have this big impact force. And I want to walk through the gait cycle and just show you guys this because first off, if you look at real quick his foot position and the way that the ground is impacting the foot, he's got a lot of force pushing him backwards. And if you're trying to run down the road, you want to minimize this. We call these braking forces. So from a performance standpoint, people who want to run faster, you don't want to run in this fashion because it provides a lot of braking forces and pushing you backwards. It kills any chance that this back leg here can drive you forward. So we always like to avoid this. But from an injury standpoint, when he hits the ground, right, it's kind of lost in between these two frames. See how the knee is perfectly straight? Now, back in the day, we used to talk about midfoot running, and really we've transformed the Midfoot Project to learn how to soften the landing because we just talked about the performance benefits. The other piece is the injury prevention piece, especially those with sore, cranky knees. This makes a huge difference. So when we watch what's going to happen here, his foot's going to hit the ground, and then let's go back to it quick. And then you're going to see the next phase is his foot slapping to the ground. So heel strike, and that's the impact force that you're seeing over here. And then foot slap is there. So let's go and add that to our little mix here. We have a foot slap, which increases the forces. This is a force diagram of what's happening in the body. So foot slap. And then as he comes through towards push off, he leaves the ground. And over here, that is push off. So what we want to look at really is this red line. This red line is what's going to determine your injury resilience from a run form standpoint. And the really cool thing about this, you guys, is like you have full control over this. Like if anyone who here is a swimmer, when you swim in the water, there is a right and a wrong way to swim. For a lot of runners, not everyone, but most runners, there is a right and wrong way to run. And that straight knee position that you see over there has this really quick ramp. And you can see how quickly, let me go back over here. See how quickly this gets pulled up and comes up and in? That provides a lot of damaging forces to runners. So the main thing is that straight knee. So if we just back him up real quick, that straight knee entering the ground, I challenge anyone, I don't challenge you, but just imagine for a second if you were to do a small jump and land with a straight knee. Really painful because this leg turns into a really rigid lever and can't shock absorb. So when this happens, there's a lot of damaging forces in here. What we want to do with our runners and what we encourage you and what we teach in the midfoot is to soften the landing. The softening the landing protects the knees, but it also, again, those performance benefits, and I'll show you here in a second. Real quick, anyone who's joining me, there is a link to the Midfoot Project. This is what we're going to be teaching how to fix, along with the exercises training. We have audio runs this year that you can take me with you if you choose to listen to this voice, which I don't know why anyone would want to, but you can have me in your ear during your runs. So if we can change a runner's foot strike and knee position to something that looks like this, the whole name of the game changes. Because if you remember before, we had a huge driving force backwards when we hit that straight knee. Now when we land on this softer knee, what happens is a couple things. The ground force is going to be pushing up, not back. So all the force from this back leg is going to have a much easier time carrying yourself over it. And then the other thing is, think about whenever you jump and land, you soften the landing and drop into like a little bit of a squat. So when you run this way, what happens is this. Take a look at this chart on somewhere on that screen. Is this green line. So you still have a same amount of force coming through. You have a lot of force coming over, but what really makes the difference is this, what we call the loading rate. When you can learn to run and land properly, you're going to take the impact force and you're going to spread it out over more period of time, and it softens the landing. It works really, really well for preserving knee health, protecting the knee. So there's no like, oh, you land softer, you have less force. You have the same force, but you spread it out over a long period of time, which is huge for running. And that makes all the difference in the world for a lot of runners. So we'll just watch him come through again. You're going to see the other leg swing through. Bang, there's the big impact force driving him backwards. And then he's going to come through again. He actually overstrides a little bit more on his right compared to his left. And this is a good way of looking at it. So we look at this push off, right? He's pushing off. He's got tons of force. Let me grab this. Tons of force shooting down the leg into the ground here. And by the time he gets to push off and carry it, he hits the ground here, which drives him backwards. Instead, if he were to land a little bit softer, wait for it, here, you can see all those forces go away. That is what you guys should be aiming for in your running. That's what we work on in the Midfoot Project. But if you're a runner who wants to run a little bit faster, you want a little bit less injury, learning to change your run form makes a difference. Key things, key takeaways: straight knee is bad. That's the easiest way to put it. But you want good glute strength, you want good core strength, and you want to work on your run form. A lot of runners leave that off the table and think, oh, I'll work on it, or they try and change too many things. We always start here. I won't say always, but 9 times out of 10, we're starting here with our runners. It's where you should consider starting. If you want some help with it, check out the link in the post. Midfoot Project starts in April. 5 weeks of training with a huge group of runners, including myself. And we'll lead you through the exact changes you need to make, the things that we've been learning over the last 11 years in the clinic. So it's time for some dinner. It's been a long day. Hope this helps. Leave some questions in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys soon.